Something you might need to do at one point is create a graphic that you will be uploading to a website, and this graphic has to have a transparent background so that the color of the website background will show around it. The JPEGs that we've been working with so far do not support transparent backgrounds. PSD files do, but they are not supported by the internet, so we need to save this as a file with a transparent background that we can upload to the internet. The first thing you need to do is make the transparent background available. So here I have a background layer. I'm going to turn that off. I can tell that this is transparent area because it's got a white checker pattern on it. And then I would recommend making sure that you don't actually have any funky little pixels left over that you think are gone but might still be there. There's a couple ways you can do this. The most visual way would be double clicking on your layer to bring up the layer styles and adding a stroke. So if I move this over on mine, this has got some pixels left making kind of this little stringy hair thing. It's not visible on top of this background or my black background, but if I was putting it on top of another color it might show up. So let's get rid of that. I'm going to say OK, and then I can use my selection tools to just select that and delete it. Now that I've got that taken care of and I don't see any other funky little pixels, I don't need this layer style anymore. So I'm going to right click on the layer and choose Clear Layer Style. The other thing to do when you are uploading graphics to the internet is get rid of any unnecessary space outside of the graphic. So here on the top and the sides we've got some space that really isn't necessary. To get rid of any of that, you can go to Image menu and choose Trim and click OK. The last thing to check is if you are in the correct color mode. The file format we're going to use is PNG and it only supports RGB. So if you need to double check your color mode, go to Image Mode and make sure you're in RGB. Let's save this puppy. Go to Photoshop, there we go, File, choose Save As, and change the format to PNG. And again, if you're not in RGB, this won't be available and you need to go back and change it. Once you've saved it as a PNG file somewhere, I'll show you what this looks like as it's opened. So this file that I'm looking at isn't actually the PNG that I just saved. This is still, if I saved it, would be a PSD because it's got two layers. So I'm going to open up my PNG that I just saved and show you that it's just got a layer 0 and is transparent, and that's something that I could upload to the internet over a color background and the color background would show through everywhere that is transparent. To save one of these letters individually instead of using them both in the same graphic, I would need to first select whichever one I wanted to copy out. So I've created a selection around it and I'm going to use my shortcuts Command C to copy. Now I need to create a new file. So File, New, or Command N. The size information in here is exactly the width and height of the pixels within this selection that I just copied. That's one of the nifty things that Photoshop has up its sleeve, and it can be really useful. The RGB color should be correct. If it was set that way, it will be that way here, but you can change it if it's not. The background contents can be changed from white, which is the default, to transparent. And this way, when you click OK, you don't even have a colored background to deal with. You can simply paste your image into that area. Now I'm going to just transform this in just a tiny bit by hitting Command T and then add a drop shadow so that it would be easier to see against light colored backgrounds, which is something you can do to give pieces dimension if you're uploading individual transparent background items. And then you would save this as a PNG. So File, Save As, save as, there it is, and PNG. You can tell I use shortcuts way too often.